set. Here we go.
That's absolutely incredible.
This is Africa's Loch Ness Monster, but much more plausible. What kind of birds are they? Captain!
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2012 found footage film The Dinosaur Project, a film that is co-written and directed by Sid Bennett, and it stars Richard Delane, Peter Brook, Matt Cain and Natasha Loring. Now this film focuses on a group of explorers who head out to the Congo as there have been some sightings of what they think to be a bit like a Loch Ness monster out there. So this project put together called the Dinosaur Project head out there in order to try and capture some footage or prove that it doesn't exist, and it is headed by a renowned explorer called Jonathan Merchant. They get out there, his 15-year-old son piggybacks the expedition, and what they discover is like a secret island full of dinosaurs. Right, what are my thoughts on the Dinosaur Project? Well, this is one of those films that Leo at Geek Legion Doom kindly gifted me. Thank you very much, Leo. And this is a found footage film. I'm a fan of found footage. Now this one, the big issue I have with this film is it's got a real identity crisis going on. In a sense of, it doesn't know if it wants to be a horror or like a family-friendly adventure type film. And I think it almost tries too hard to be like Jurassic Park 3 in a lot of ways. There's a lot of beats to this film that remind you very much of Jurassic Park 3, the plane on the crash landing like on the island sort of thing. And the expedition leader, Jonathan Merchant, is like basically a carbon copy of Sam Neill from the Jurassic Park films. And yeah, there's a lot of beats here that feel very much like Jurassic Park, and I think this film would have really benefited if it had tried to give itself its own identity and really gone down the really tense thriller stroke horror route. Because there's a real gap in the market for a good quality dinosaur horror film, and I think this kind of missed a trick a little bit. But that's not to say there isn't some entertainment to be had here. There is. Like I say, every time I watch a found footage film, there's like a series of rules I've got in my own head for them to feel genuine, you know, and feel like they belong in the genre. And this actually ticks quite a few of the boxes, in the sense of it has a clever way of like filming footage. The 15-year-old kid who tags along is very technically minded. He brings his own little cameras, and he even attaches one to a dinosaur that they nickname Crypto. So they've got this little camera on this dinosaur that's running around that they're watching the footage of, which I thought was quite clever and pretty smart. And obviously because they're out there filming footage, the cameras are generally speaking always on. So there's only a small amount of moments when you're watching this when you're thinking, would this be filmed at the time? But for the most part, it feels like, you know, the camera's being on, would be on for the most part here watching this. I think as well, for it being low budget, it's a cut above your low budget type found footage film. This, I mean, there are some pretty decent effects when you compare it to certainly other films in this genre, but the effects by no means compare to the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise, as you obviously would expect, but they're certainly passable and certainly decent for the most part. I just never really felt like the group were massively under threat by any real ferocious beasties. Just occasionally, and again with it being found footage, found footage sometimes is smartly used to kind of cover up low budgets and things like that. And in this film you desperately wanted to see sometimes what was going on, and you couldn't because of the way it was filmed and the shaky cam going off, and it gets very confused and it's dark and you hear these dinosaurs screeching, people are running away screaming, getting attacked by this, that and the other. and you really want to see it and you can't, so there's a level of frustration as well here when you're watching this. So this is actually a little bit of a unique found footage film, really. I mean, generally speaking, found footage you just find horror, and while I do think this film has an identity crisis and I would have liked it to hang its hat on a certain genre or two, it's quite a quirky original entry into the found footage genre, but it's a little bit of everything. It's listed on IMDb in actual fact as action, adventure, drama, horror, sci-fi, thriller. It's literally, but apart from musical and romance, it's touching most genres out there, and I think it just needed to whittle it down and give itself a better opportunity to sit in a genre or two, and it feels like it's a little bit of everything here. At times it feels like anyone can watch this, and other times you feel like, oh, I think to just turned up the horror factor there, that would have really worked and been quite scary. But ultimately it all feels a little bit tame, which is a shame because there was an awful lot of potential here. But saying that, it's a pretty decent, quirky little found footage film. I'm going to give this one a 5.5 out of 10, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll be back with plenty more reviews on the channel very, very soon.